Welcome to the Voodoo Power Podcast.
Welcome to Plates and Pancakes. We're sitting down today with Brendin, Patrick, and Isaac Rodriguez. These guys are wrestlers down at Butler, and they just finished up the state wrestling tournament. Had a little bit of time and come in. So thanks for coming in, guys.
No problem.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
So I'll have you introduce yourselves a little bit. Name, age, weight, how you did at state.
My name's Isaac, age 16, wrestled 175, took 5th at state. It was a decent performance.
I'd say so. I agree with that. Now 16, that make you a junior?
Yeah, I'm a junior.
My name is Brendin Patrick. I'm 18. I wrestled 144. I was a state champ this year. I was also a state champ last year at 152 as a 17-year-old, a junior. And then I'm a 4-time state medalist. And
So what'd you get your freshman year?
third.
Third and then sophomore?
Second.
Second? So you
sophomore.
just kept working up
Yeah.
and then finally got it, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So how you guys feeling after the long season?
Bittersweet, more sweet for it to be over, but it's a long grind.
Yeah, you
For
got
sure.
pretty beat up.
Mhm.
So what about you, Isaac?
I'm ready to get back into it. As much as I said I hated it, I'm ready for it to come back around.
So we can get into your injuries a little bit. You wrestled with a labrum brace.
Yes. So a district semifinals, and there's these two guys trying to block me, and one hit my elbow and like jarred in my shoulder, and I heard a pop, and I didn't really think too much of it. It kind of hurt, and I still played the rest of the game, and at first I thought it was my collarbone, and it was a little contusion on my collarbone, and then I played the Adrian game, and then we end up losing that game, and I roll into wrestling, and I use a lot more like body parts in wrestling than I would in football, and it started bothering me real bad, and we went and got checked out, and then the pain in my collarbone went away, and it moved to my shoulder, so we went and got that checked out and everything, and it ended up being like a partially torn labrum. And then fast forward, I think that might be all the injuries until the state semifinals.
Right, and then I just posted that video, so we were there, we were watching it. So wrestling pretty good. The kid come around, looked like he snapped you down, and then you caught yourself. And then what'd you do to your thumb?
So he snapped me down, and I tried to post on the mat, and my hand went a different way, my right hand. And my right hand like hit the mat like directly and broke it out of place. And I heard a loud pop, and I kind of put it back behind me, and he came after me, and I like kind of threw him out of bounds, and I looked at it, and it was out of place. I'm like, that does not look right. So I turned to my coach, and I'm like, what the heck is this? And so the trainer comes out. I was pretty cool and relaxed during it, because I didn't want to freak out. And, And I really didn't feel it because of the adrenaline pump. I didn't feel anything, and they got it back. It didn't pop back in place. They just put it back in place because, like, I guess probably broke when it went out of place. And I wrestled the rest of that match on it, and it didn't really bother me. And then after the match, it like blew up like a balloon, and I could barely even use it because I went to Chick-fil-A and everything and ate, and I tried to pick up a glass, and I almost dropped it because it hurt so bad.
Well, you had it taped up pretty heavy for the finals match.
Yeah, I went to the trainers right when I got back to the arena, and they taped it up real good for me. And
then the rest is history. Now you just got to recover, huh?
Yep.
What about you, Isaac? Any injuries?
Not really. Just same thing as usual. My thumbs from football, just from blocking, a little sore tender, but that's about it. And a little bit of an ankle, just from it popping. But other than that, we were good.
I did sprain my ankle 2 weeks before districts also. We were running, and I went to post to cut back and just rolled and popped 2 times. And that kind of put me back a little bit. I was a week out of practice.
By the time it was all done, you were pretty beat up.
Yeah.
So you think any of your ankle injuries had to do with your exceptionally long warm-up? Like, I've been to tons of tournaments, and you never stop. I mean, you'll start at the 106, and you'll be running the mat until you wrestle at 175. How much of a warm-up do you need?
I need to get my head ready. There's a lot to do with a lot of mental state, and once I could get if I could warm up for that long, my mental state is usually I'm going out here and I'm going to kick somebody's ass. But as soon as it's a little bit off, or if I don't feel warm enough, I don't wrestle like myself. I wrestle just plain old basic instead of like the most potential I could have that whole match. So it helps me get ready for sure. It definitely helps like calm me down before a match.
I noticed at Versailles more than anything else. We were working around the mat and trying to video some matches, and everywhere I go, there you'd be, back and forth, back and forth. So I didn't know why you use such a long warm up. But now, are you the first two-timer?
Yep, from Butler.
From Butler?
Two. And then I think the second from Bates County. Tyler Bryce being the first. That's what I heard.
Okay, that would probably make sense. So I mean, that's quite an accomplishment, because from the outside looking in, I would say that Butler wrestling is probably their most traditioned program.
We've had some success throughout the years, and we have some phenomenal coaches. Our coaching staff is pretty top notch.
That's a question I had in there probably a little further on, but yeah, you guys have a big staff of guys that really know wrestling. If somebody didn't know you two, if they were just to show up at a wrestling match and watch you guys are totally different people than you are right now. So if you had to explain to somebody how you really are, how would you explain yourself?
Honestly, I'm probably just like a cool, laid-back dude off the mat and pretty likable. And then on the mat, I take care of business. I just do what I have to do. And
get the job done.
Get the job done, get off the mat.
Yeah. What about you, Isaac?
Off the mat, you call me a dickhead. I'm pretty intense. I don't play a whole bunch of games with a whole bunch of people. If I got my crowd, and those are the only ones I trust. On the mat, you could say I'm a dickhead too. I don't try to hurt you on purpose, but if it happens, it happens. Move on with the match. I'll talk to you after I'm done kicking your ass.
A little cold-blooded.
Yeah.
Flipping the switch.
Yeah.
So your style is a little bit different. Oh, you guys wrestle totally different. Obviously, the weight is some of it, but you're a scramble wrestler.
Yeah, I like when I scramble with people. Most of them can't keep up, and I normally find a way to pin them once when I get to scrambling with them.
Yeah, and as you watch, I guess as guys know you better, there's a lot less scrambling that goes on, especially at the state tournament. There wasn't too many guys that scrambled with you too much. Now, at the end of that match, it got close.
And then it opened up. He opened up a little bit,
yeah.
And so did I. So.
You were able to turn it back around on him.
And that's what last year I wrestled up a little heavier than what I was used to. And I'll tell you a story. This Lathrop kid I wrestled at the battle, the first time I ever wrestled him, and so we started scrambling a little bit, and I was beating him 4-0 in the second period, and we started scrambling, and I ended up catching him and pinning him. And he's pretty good. He's a good wrestler. And we go to the Butler tournament, and I'm wrestling him for first place, and just balled up the whole match. 2-0 match. I couldn't do anything. Everyone I wrestled at 152 was stronger than me, and I had to beat him with my speed and technique and stuff. So I couldn't really do anything because balled up. And the next time we wrestled, he did the same thing. So that's pretty much what everyone's intent in wrestling was, to just keep it close and try to have make me have room for error.
Right, trying to get you to make a mistake in there somewhere and get you out of how you normally wrestle.
Yeah.
Now, you won battle this year, didn't you, Isaac?
No, I took second.
You took second?
Lost to Devin Pond.
Where's he from?
Brookfield.
Yeah.
Took first at state.
Yeah, that's a pretty good team there. So, now, how close of a match was that?
Oh, it wasn't that close. He took me down. I stood up. I turned him face before I cleared the hands. Got a body lock up on me. Went down to my knees. Picked me up. Slammed me straight on my back. Drug his shoulder into my stomach. Lost my air a little bit. Became a little bit of a hothead. So by the end of the match, it was 7-1 because I was out there with the wrong intentions.
Now, we talked about Butler wrestling being probably the most storied program down there. How are you guys able to keep that at such a high level every year? Just keep reloading.
It's all about tradition, you gotta. So I make goals, and I try to do better than what I have the previous year, and I try to work towards that and do whatever I can.
Mm-hmm.
And you always got to push the person next to you and make them do better and lead them to higher standards, you know. And even if you're a freshman, like we had freshmen this year
Mhm.
place, like it doesn't matter, age doesn't matter on the mat, so you
Right.
just go out there and wrestle with the same intensity you are at practice, and you got to open up and just leave it all out there.
So in the room, who do you go against?
Kellen.
Kellen?
Yeah, he's a really good wrestling
And he
partner.
took third this year.
Mhm,
He
yeah.
wrestled really well.
Yeah.
What about you, Isaac? Who are you going against?
I go with all the coaches.
Okay.
I
So
don't
what
know.
all coaches wrestle?
I go with Tyler Bice. My main one is I go with Ryan Hooper a lot. He helps me out a lot more, see a lot more openings,
Mm-hmm.
tell me what is possible and isn't possible. But it helps with a lot because of their strength difference and their weight. Helps it a lot. It makes it a lot easier when I wrestle kids in my weight. So they just help me by opening up my eyes, not just mine, but everybody's. And when they do that, I look at things at a whole different perspective.
Mm-hmm.
It just gets my head moving and never lets it stop or let it be at ease.
Okay. So we'll go ahead and get into coaches now a little bit. There was a little bit of a change.
Mm-hmm.
Tyler was no longer the head this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But from the outside looking in, it looked like he was probably as active as he's ever been.
Yeah.
But the head coach went along,
Yeah.
and he was originally from Diamond,
No, Southern Boone.
Southern Boone.
Over by Columbia, yeah.
Okay. So then when he come up here, then he brought Kellen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So did anything in the room program change, or was
No.
it pretty seamless?
Well, he obviously knew we had success before, and he really didn't take anything from Coach Bice. If Coach Bice had something, he was really cool about it. He was like, "You've been here before me," and
Mhm.
if he had anything to say, he'd let him say it. And he brought a lot new techniques that we've never seen before, and Coach Bice's techniques, like it all like matched and worked perfectly together, and it was a good match for us.
I wondered how that would be, because I mean, Tyler's been a part of the program for so long, and then you bring somebody else in and trying to make it all work and not throw the room into chaos. But it looked like
Yeah.
obviously as
It
many
meshed
people.
really
yeah,
well. Yeah.
I would agree with that.
And
Now, what about Jeff Taylor? What does he bring to the room?
Oh, when he comes to the room, it's a whole lot of energy and fun, man. He's just a funny dude to look at. He's a funny dude to joke around with.
He's not really in the room that much for practices, but he's there for meets, and he's always there. He's been in my corner since I was 5 years old, and he's always been a really good coach,
I like-
mentor in person.
Right.
I like all the
him a lot.
coaches.
I like all of them too. Yeah.
I know Jeff away from wrestling
Yeah.
through all the years of working, and I'll tell you what, by the time he leaves a place, he will know everybody
Oh
there.
yeah, he is a talker, and he will always be a talker.
He's just like this one, never not sees anybody they
Oh,
don't
yeah.
know.
I'll be at a tournament, and I'll go to the restroom or something, and then I'll see 5 people on my way back, and it take
Right.
me like 30 minutes to get back to my seat.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No.
Got to have connections.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we talked about football a little bit ago and the injuries you got. But you guys had a heck of a run.
Yeah.
You took it all the way to the end of districts.
Yeah.
And then you talking about coaches. You got a great coach down there. What was your guys' football season like?
It was fun, to say the least. We had a really fun team. I think what held us back was numbers. We have a pretty big town, and for the Bates County area,
Mhm.
we're probably one of the smaller teams, and that kind of held us back a little bit because if one person got injured, it messed up with our whole game plan, roster. I don't know. We had a lot of speed, talent. We had a lot of that, but we really lacked in numbers and offensive linemen. And
Yeah, I mean, I did prep cast down there for that game, and I think Archie dresses more guys out than you guys do.
I
Yeah.
know. It's pretty sad, but I mean
We have
you
a
gotta
lot
do-
of big, great dudes that can benefit the team
Oh yeah,
so
if
much.
we had the right pieces that came out this year, I feel like we could have made it to the state championship.
There's like so many great kids that are so athletic that just are too lazy to do anything. They rather sit at home and do nothing, honestly.
And a lot of people work instead
Yeah.
of play
Yeah.
sports. And
Yeah, it's getting tougher all the time.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And to have 2 years of success like you guys have,
I know.
you would think the team would be growing, and
Same.
maybe it will.
Yeah.
We had a lot of upcoming freshmen. Like, we had a lot of freshmen that haven't played football since youth came out just because of coaches. And then, like, me and Brendin and Zane Carson and Mason Deal would try to persuade kids into playing and be like, in practices we try during the summer, we get our work done, but we also try, like, having fun while we're there. And then when the season starts ramping up there towards the end, we just start trying to kick it on. But it's hard to kick it on when you've been joking around and goofing off all year.
You got to figure out when it's time to get locked in.
Yeah.
Now, what other sports do you guys play?
So I play football and then wrestle, and then ever since 7th grade I did track, but unfortunately this year I won't be able to participate in track because
with all your injuries.
Yeah, I have to get my body right for the rest of my life. I only have one body.
Right.
Honestly, track wasn't my main sport. I got the important sports out of the way. And
what'd you do in track?
Sprinter, 100.
100. What was your time?
My fastest 100 was 11:34.
Okay.
My best split was probably in the 10s for 4x1. So.
Okay. What about you, Isaac? Any other sports in there?
Freshman year I played football, did wrestling, I played baseball. Sophomore year I couldn't play baseball, sprained my OCL at state for wrestling. So I just play football and I do wrestling now, and then find a little side job, gig on the side.
Okay. Now, with all the success you guys have had in football and wrestling, how do you keep that all in check?
Our coaches let us know to stay humble. Like, it's a very important deal, not just in sports but in life, to stay humble. And that's what I like about our wrestling coaches so much, is that they just don't resort it to wrestling this and wrestling that. It's always, they convert it into, you're wrestling so hard and you're pushing your body so hard to where you feel like you're going to break, but your body's telling you you're about to break, but mentally you know you can keep going more. And they're like, that's how it is out there in the real world every day. You feel like it's enough, but you always know mentally you got more in you. Just like work, it's never going to be easy, but you know it's something you always got to do.
Okay.
I've always told myself your body can take more than your mind tells you. And then sometimes I tell myself, fake it till you make it. And then I've worked hard all my life. I've done sports since I was 5, and a lot of it's experience and obviously gifted athletically. And I thank God, my parents, for that, and then raising me right to be like who I am today. So.
Staying with the success theme, what would you say your biggest successes are?
For me, definitely the 2-time state champion and the two-time all-state first team running back for football as well.
Okay, yeah, that's a pretty big accomplishment. That's almost a bigger accomplishment than your wrestling, just because your wrestling was such a high level.
And then, I got first team last year in Class 2 for running back, and then first team this year in Class 1 in football. And I was trying to be a 3-sport all-state athlete in track last year. It was conference. I ended up PRing in the 100. I got first in that, and then came around to the 4x1. I was the first leg. I came out of blocks. I got about 70 to 80 meters in and kind of tweaked my hamstring. I thought I pulled it, and it ended up being a strain, and I didn't get to run track the rest of the year. It kind of devastated me.
Right.
And then, because that was my goal at the beginning of the year, was to get a medal or honor all state in all of those sports. And then that was another goal this year, but I can't really beat the inevitable. I mean,
yeah, it is what it is. Yeah. You got to play with the hand that you were dealt.
Yep.
What would you say your biggest success is, Isaac?
My biggest success is I know I have people there in my corner always supporting me, like Brendin. He's helped me out the past year, and it's been a hard year. Just really, my biggest success isn't even talking and for sports. It's just life. Everybody that's shown me that they're gonna show up and let me know that they're gonna be there for me whenever I need them, no matter how late or early it's gonna be. Just knowing it's gonna be easier, and it's gonna get easier in life, even though it may seem tougher.
Yeah. Yeah, you had some pretty tough blows last year, so having the people there to help you through.
Yep. Really helped me out, get my stress off mentally,
Mhm.
just becoming closer with family and learning who my true family and friends are.
Mhm.
Sports really teach you the values in life and how to overcome adversity. And if you succeed in wrestling, you more than likely will succeed in life and be a good human. So
I would agree with that. Of all the sports, that one,
wrestling is definitely the hardest mentally and physically
Yeah.
sport.
and there's a team component, but then there's
Mhm.
the solo
It's
component.
just you.
And
It's
you're
you
trying
versus
to,
yourself.
Yeah, and you're trying to make it all mesh, and it resembles life in a lot of ways.
Hmm.
Now, future plans. Obviously, 2-time state champion, 4-time at the state tournament.
Four-time
Sure there's-
medalist. And,
Right. I'm
yeah.
sure there's some offers out there. What's the future plans?
So, I think I'm gonna put sports, leave sports in high school.
Okay.
I've been doing it for so long, and it's I'm kind of burnt out on it, and I kind of want to start living my life in college and focusing on academics
Mhm.
and getting a degree, because at the end of the day, that's what I'm going to college for. And I've obviously had coaches interested talking to me in D2,
Mhm.
I think, something like that. And I've thought about it all the time. I think about it all the time. I just got to do what makes myself happy and not what makes other people happy, you know?
Right. At the end of the day, you got to do what's best for you. So, college, what are you looking to
I'll
be?
be attending Pitt State.
Going to Pitt State?
Yeah, gonna get a business and finance degree.
Okay.
there.
What about you, Isaac? What lays ahead for you? You got another year of high school.
Yeah. Really think I'm just gonna go into UPS, start driving, get my Class A CDL. I mean, it's not easy money, but it's better than most of the jobs out there. It offers you a lot of benefits, and truck drivers are needed everywhere.
Mhm.
CDL is an important thing to have, I feel like, right now in our society with the truck driver shortage and everything. So I feel like I get paid pretty good just from hauling tractor trailers all the time.
All right. I always ask a conspiracy theory question. I didn't have one until right then. So, do you feel like the truck driver shortage is related to the price of getting a CDL?
Yes and no, because at UPS, I know they offer if you sign on with them and just start off with package cart for the first year or so, and then you work up and you actually start talking and you want to become one of their drivers, or if they're in need of a driver, they will pay for your class. It's like a 5-month-long class there because you got to go through all of their stuff and everything they want you to learn. But I feel like the shortage could be because of that, like people that don't have that opportunity to do it. But yeah, I feel like if you just work for it, it'll come naturally for you.
Find the right company that's
Yeah.
willing to invest in you.
Yeah, find somebody who sees the potential that you see in yourself.
Mm-hmm. Now, what would you say, we talked about biggest success, what would you say is your biggest weakness?
My biggest weakness would be my mental state. I let it take care of however I feel or if I react to people that day. There's been days where I've been an absolute dick to Brendin, and he hasn't done nothing besides ask me if I'm okay.
Mm-hmm.
And it just out of nowhere, I'm just dickhead. I'm mean to him for nothing. It's just life. Life screwed me over at the end of the day, and I know it will continuously screw everybody over. But I just got to put myself in a mental check and be like, you just got to go second by second. You can't think of what happened in the past or what's going to happen in the future. And at the end of the day, I try to apologize to Brendin, but that's the biggest, hardest deal for me to do. Is I know I'm wrong, and I don't hate admitting to it, but I hate the actions I did to my people when I was angry and frustrated at myself and at my life when they had nothing to take part in that.
Mm-hmm.
My biggest weakness would probably be myself, mentally, because before a match, I always underestimate myself. I always get nervous. I get nervous before any match. If it's some kid that's never won a match, I'm always nervous. Going into high school, I had low expectations. I didn't know what to expect, and I would have been happy with qualifying for state, and I ended up only 2 losses, 3rd at state, and I surprised myself a lot.
Both of you guys are pretty
Yeah.
modest. We'll move off that. Who would you say is your hero?
My hero? My biggest hero was my dad. He was the greatest man I knew, and the only man I'll still continue to look up at every day, and just trying to figure out how to be just as good or better than him. Just take advantage of everything that he gave me in life. The talks we had, we got to actually hang out, and him tell me what it was to grow up and how his life was and how much better he was trying to do for me and my sister. It was amazing, and I wish I cherished those moments more so I could know just ask him so many more questions.
Right, yeah, you just don't ever know when the end's going to be.
Yeah.
What about you?
My biggest hero would probably be my dad also.
Yeah?
He's definitely steered me into the right direction to what the man I want to be, and I'm grateful that I have a father figure in my life because he didn't growing up, and he didn't have the best life growing up, and he wanted to always give his kids better than what he had. And I'm greatly appreciative of what he's done for me and steered me even when he's hard on me. When I don't always get it why he's so hard, but I will later in life, and I'm starting to get it because he wants what's best for me, and that's what every father does.
Right.
And I appreciate it a lot because not a lot of people have that hard father figure on them to make them steer them into the right direction.
Yeah, and it's looking out for them and trying to do the best they can do. We'll take it somewhere a little bit lighter for a minute. So after the season's over, you guys are over in Columbia. You probably go anywhere you want to eat. Where did they take you for your first big meal after season?
Texas Roadhouse. I had me a medium rare steak. It was pretty good, but my appetite really wasn't really high because I was still excited from winning, and I just wasn't hungry. So
killing a bunch of rolls.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
What about, is that where you
I went to Olive Garden and got the chicken and
choice.
shrimp Alfredo.
Yeah. So you guys are both in maybe a little bit different of a spot as far as weight goes during the season. Is one cutting and one good, or are you both good, or?
He's always cutting, and
Not
I'm
this
usually
year.
I'm
This
usually
year
pretty
and last
good.
year, I was really good on weight. Last year, I was 10 pounds under.
That's what I thought.
Yeah,
I mean,
last year I was 10 pounds under weighing in for the state championship match. I cut the 45, and then I realized I've already beat everyone at 152. I might as well just go back up and get my title there. And this year, I was a lot lighter from football because junior year I was in the 60s after football, and this year I was in the 50s, and I was I might as well cut a few extra more pounds to get where I can. And Colin Arch, of course, was at 150, and I was I'd rather wrestle everyone at 144 than wrestle him for 2 times. So
okay.
And honestly, I walked around probably 46, 48.
So not much.
No,
I mean,
not
a good night in the room, and you're where you want to be.
Yeah.
What about you, Isaac? How was your weight?
It was pretty good. I mean, it came in weighing 186, 184, somewhere around there. Cut pretty hard first couple weeks, and then I got down to where I wanted. The stayed steady there, and then close to state, I was getting over and over. First night at state, I was 183 that night, and then had a run on the treadmill.
Coach was pissed.
Yeah, coach was pretty pissed.
I was going to ask you what
3
did you do?
cheeseburgers.
3 cheeseburgers at state. Yeah, I didn't eat nothing all day that day I wrestled, and then I just felt sluggish and no energy, no nothing. And then when I got food in me, I just give me more.
Couldn't stop it.
Yeah.
So did you turn the bathroom into a sauna?
Oh man, yeah.
We did.
Turned the bathroom into a sauna. Ran on the treadmill for 30 minutes to an hour. Rode the bike for 30 minutes to an hour.
I was just chilling.
Yeah, he was just asking if he needed anything.
Yeah.
Sitting there drinking some water.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure you didn't hear the end of it all night.
Oh no.
Tyler's pretty strict about what you eat and put in your body.
But it just makes everything go so much easier.
It makes you perform a lot better and everything.
Yeah, he says it has to do with the lot performance. You want a shitty performance, go eat everything greasy. So you want a better performance, eat fruit, natural fruits, a lot of protein, and a little bit of carbs and a little bit of meat. Yeah.
Trying to spread it out throughout the day too, where
it's not
the excitement of state, it jacks with your appetite, I'm sure.
If you put the wrong type of gas in a car, it's not going to run right. So
that's very true. Yeah. And especially if it's something you're not used to.
Exactly.
So if you've been pretty clean all season, and then now you go to state 3 cheeseburgers deep, it may be a rough night.
I ate pretty good during season. I mean, heaviest I got was probably low 50s. I mean, it was
and that's still manageable.
Yeah.
And then at that point, your body's kind of used to going up and going down, so I'm sure it comes off a little easier.
Yeah, it does.
Now, with having that deep run into district, did that affect coming into wrestling? Did it put you a little behind?
Motivation. Motivation was definitely there. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I was burnt out. I didn't really want to wrestle, but I mean, I had one more year, and I had to go out with a bang and do whatever I could to do it, because I'm sure my parents are going to be watching this. They know that I've complained a lot about wrestling, but I know at the end of the day it'd make me a way better person, and if it did a lot for me throughout the years. And I loved football. That was my passion. And if I got to choose a sport to play in college, it's what it would be. But my size, and that's a lot of work to put in to maybe sit a bench. I don't know.
You got to decide how much you love it at that point.
Exactly,
and if you've proved size is hard for you to put on, that's one more thing against you.
And then that's taking a toll on my body.
So we'll kind of move into this just here a little bit before we wrap up. So if nobody's been to state, it's a big arena.
It is.
A lot of mats.
Yeah.
In the finals, everything goes dark. Curtains open, and you come running out into a dark arena with spotlights, and I don't know, the arena's packed. It may be empty all day, but for the finals, it fills up. So what kind of emotions are going through your head as you're coming out the curtain?
Junior year, I was freaking out. I'm not going to lie. It was nerve-wracking. It was crazy. Because sophomore year, I made it to the finals, but it wasn't as big. It was an independence,
a COVID,
it wasn't,
all of that.
I mean, I was still nervous, but junior year, it was in the arena. All 4 classes were there. It was a huge crowd. I was nervous, and I was trying to get that first state title under my belt, and all the pressure was on. Almost all of Butler was watching me, and I knew it. I couldn't let my town down. I had to go out there and perform. I feel like I wrestle the best when I'm nervous. Like, it's crazy. I'm nervous. I go out there, I shake hands, and everything goes away. It's kind of cool. And then this year, a lot of the pressure was off, and I wasn't as nervous. And I think that's what helped me in the match. Was I had to think. I was like, my hand's fine. I kept pushing it to the side, and I wasn't trying to think about it. And I was just trying to go out there and get the job done. And I was nervous, of course. Anyone would get nervous, but I wasn't as nervous. Getting the first one under the belt was pretty good, and then the second one, of course, was awesome.
So moving into the match, it was a low scoring affair. Everything was going good, going your way. And then with under 20 seconds left, the kid turns you and goes up in points. What's going through your mind?
Okay, so I was wrestling. I was trying to keep the lead because I couldn't use my right hand very much, because every time I gripped or did anything with it, I could hear it pop and grind. I was just trying to do whatever I could, even if it meant stalling, and that's not my type of wrestling. I try to score points, and that's go back a little bit. And at the Battle of the K-Trail, I had a close match with him too. I went into overtime and shot. I took one shot all match and beat him in overtime with it. And that was when I was dealing with my shoulder. And I was wrestling to win, to not score points. And that's also what I did in the state championship. And I told myself not to do that, but I did it anyways. And then here I am. It's 3-2, and he throws me. And moments before that, I was telling myself, don't get thrown, don't get thrown, don't get thrown. And all of a sudden, I'm like, oh shit, I got thrown. I was squirming, I was getting out of there. It was all just pure instinct reaction and hips and everything. I didn't think, I just went. And I ended up getting behind him and secured the win.
Yeah, because almost no sooner than he got you thrown, you were back around on top with the reversal, and I want to say it was less than 12 seconds left when you turned it and made it work.
Yeah, because I remember looking at the time, it was like 5, 4, 3. I was like, let's go.
Yeah, so I give you the videos I was telling you earlier. I don't know. We were sitting there watching it, so you may have to mute that because I don't have any idea what I said, but I'm sure it wasn't great. But yeah, it was a great match. It was one of the better matches that I watched the finals. So, what's next season hold for you, Isaac?
We can't really tell right now, but I'll tell you what. Anybody that wrestles me next year better bring it because I ain't holding back no more.
Got that chip on your shoulder.
Yeah,
I got a lot to prove. Can't let this one be the only one in the past 20 years be a state champ.
right.
We got a good roster coming up.
You do.
Yeah.
So
I think we'll have a couple state champs next year.
You think?
I think
Kellen.
Preston popped off this year at state.
Preston,
Ended up taking
third-year wrestler.
Yeah, he wrestled really well.
Fourth,
ended up taking fourth. I think he'll be pretty darn close to a title next year.
Damien.
I think Damien will place this upcoming
We have
year.
a really good freshman class.
Yeah, watching him this year, it was so busy. We tried to get as many pictures and videos of stuff as we could. Some of them we didn't get as much of others just because of the way the weight classes ran together. But yeah, you guys brought a lot, and they got a lot of experience, so it should be a really good team next year.
Yeah.
So before we wrap this up, I had one more thing I wanted to make sure I got before you go. Do you think, let's see here, see if I can find it. I stopped at the grocery store before I did this interview because I wanted to make sure I was prepared.
Okay.
Do you think you could autograph this for me?
Yeah, I can try. I mean, I will try to do
Take
that.
off the cap.
Well, it'd be nice to have the autograph from the only 2-time Butler state champion.
Okay, this might be challenging, but
You think you could write it any smaller? You're going to have to practice.
my teachers never saw this. I can't write with this hand. No, I'm
Well,
kidding.
thank you. I mean,
No
it does,
problem. It's kinda
it
small.
doesn't say like to Voodoo Power. Thanks for having me on the podcast, Brendin
got
Patrick.
you.
But I'll take it. It's busy during wrestling season, and it's really hard to squeeze in. But, but now that it's over, I appreciate you guys coming up, and I hope you had a good time.
Appreciate you for giving us the opportunity.